Hello, I'm Margherita Borella. I'm Associate Professor at the ESOMAS department. And in this video, which is part of the ESOMAS Research Videoclips series, I'm going to talk about some research joined with Maria Cristina Denardi and Fang Yang. In this work, we document important changes in the opportunities and outcomes of white, non-college educated Americans born in the 60s, compared with those born in the 40s. The motivation for this work stems from the fact that while the average American continues to get richer and live longer, we are becoming more aware of how aggregate growth hasn't translated into better outcomes for everyone, and this group in particular has caught the attention of researchers. There is a lot of economic research on growth, on business cycle fluctuations, and on inequality. But there is a gap in studying the opportunities and outcomes of different cohorts of people over their entire life cycle. And this is important because there are changes that affect a cohort of people during all or much of their life cycle, not just at a point in time, and they can have very large effects. For instance, people can be affected by the economic conditions when they enter the labor market, and then by the way technological progress affects their cohort and education level in a very long-lasting way. This paper considers three important changes across cohorts for the less educated. That is, changes in wages, in out-of-pocket medical expenses, and in life expectancy. And we studied their consequences. In doing so, we uncover several important new facts. First, overall of their life cycle, the wages of white, non-college educated men were 9% lower for the cohort born in the 60s than those born in the 40s. In contrast, the wages of white, non-college educated women went up by 7% between the 40s and the 60s birth cohorts. Second, we compute expected out-of-pocket medical expenses during all of the retirement period and find that these will increase by 80% across these two cohorts. Third, we compute life expectancy in middle age and at retirement time, and we find that it is going down by 1 to 2 years. After documenting these changes, we introduced them in a rich structural model of couples and singles. And we find that they increase the labor supply of women, especially the married ones, while they decrease that of married men later in life. We also find that overall, these changes increase savings due to increasing medical expenses. And finally, we compute that they had large welfare costs. We compute these welfare costs as the one-time asset compensations that make people indifferent between the 60s and the 40s, wages, medical expenses, and life expectancies. They amount, as a fraction of the present discounted value of their lifetime income, to 13% for single men, 8% for couples, and 7% for single women. Thus, we find that the worsening in opportunities that we document is also very costly in terms of welfare. That's all for this video, and thanks for your attention.